What is up? And welcome to another edition of the All Basketball Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Maurice, coming to you on March 6th, a day after my team, my only team, the team I've rooted for since I was like 8, 9 years old, the North Carolina Tar Heels, beat Duke in Cameron Indoor Stadium during Coach Mike Krzyzewski's final home game. Coach K has done after whenever their season ends, or whether it's early in the tournament, Sweet 16, Elite Eight, Final Four. Hopefully not. If they make it to the national championship, hopefully they don't leave the building as the champs. But this is it for Coach K. Been coaching pretty much my whole life. But man, I am excited. I was excited last night because we got that dub in Cameron. All of the former players at Duke who I used to hate, most of them who I used to see from Leitner to, his name was Jason Williams at the time, Shane Battier, Mike Dunleavy, Sheldon Williams, not hate on the personal level, but just hate as far as competition, because they always gave my boys a good game. Sometimes we just beat them, but in the end result, it was a good game. But to see them have to bow down and watch while all of them were in attendance, Wojciechowski, whoever else, Langdon, good shooter, Grant Hill, who I loved as an NBA player, but they had to bow down. Tar Heels get the last laugh on Coach K's last game in Cameron. Man, what a game. And this is another edition of Just My Thoughts, the 10th volume, if you're keeping count. But 94-81 was the final. Carolina hadn't beaten a good team all season. Whipped by Kentucky, whipped by Tennessee, whipped by Duke at the Dean Dome. Now, Coach K did win his last game there. And some people were upset because we didn't acknowledge him. And so to speak, there was little mention of this being his last game there. But I don't know, when it's arrival, and maybe they would have did something for Roy Williams if he would have announced before the season that last season would be his last. But I can't remember if they did anything for seemed like Dean Smith just kind of said that was it, and they Bill Guthridge took over. So I don't know if there's ever been a chance where our rival Duke has had the chance to acknowledge someone from North Carolina in that type of way. But so they were upset about that. But hey, they came out there in the Dean Dome, whipped us 87-67. Just another team to beat us. We hadn't beat any really good teams. But so I wasn't expecting to. I was just hoping, texting people, texting fans of Duke. I'm hoping we keep it close. Can we prevent us? I would love if we prevent a sweep this season, but can we keep it close? Just be competitive and just maybe shock the world, because it was so much build up to this being Coach K's last home game. Ticket prices were out of the roof. It was crazy. Everybody you could imagine was there. Even the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, was there. Dirk Nowitzki was there. So this was must-see TV on ESPN. And my boy showed out, spoiled the show. Shout out to Baycott, Manic, Leaky Black, RJ Davis, and Caleb Love. And even those bench guys who came in for a few minutes of relief. And Coach Davis for pulling that one out, because nobody expected. I believe a lot of Carolina fans were in the same boat as me, like, probably not going to win. Coach K is going to end this time at Cameron on a good note, but we spoiled it. But man, just want to get into talking about the actual game a little bit. Had a good start, and I think that was key to kind of control that crowd, control the crazies. I think went up about 9-2. Then obviously Duke came storming back. Baycott got that quick foul and he was pulled. I didn't really like the decision by Coach Davis, but he was just trying to make sure he didn't get a second foul too quick because that hurt us at the Dean Dome. And then he was in a bad matchup because they had him on Banchero, but this time they just had to put Manic stepped up and did what he could with Banchero, and he let Baycott match up with Williams. And so and when Baycott went out, it definitely hurt us. And we went down. I can't remember the play, but they hit that. They went up about 7. Somebody may have hit a 3, or can't remember if it was when Baycott had the spin move and dunk, but whenever it was, the building was rocking and the score was around 30. At that point, it was like 35-27. And then I just know we ended that half very well. 3 critical possessions I want to speak about. First was, I know Duke fans wanted, even Coach K's wanted, they thought that should have been a charge call against Baycott. I thought one of the fouls he got was legit. The one where he looked like he may have kind of pushed Williams. I don't know about that, but he made a move, didn't really dip his shoulder. They gave him the benefit of the doubt. He didn't get a charge call, so we maintained possession. After that, Love hit a 3. And then we came back and got another one from Manic. He hit a 3. And then that was a critical point. And then right at the end of the half, Davis put a little move on Roach, dyed his eyes with the 3, and we were down 41-39 going to the half. And so at that point, we're in real good shape. And then, so Duke went back up second half, but then shout out to Caleb Love because he played, I didn't know he missed like his first 8 shots. Played terrible in the first half. Sometimes he gives and he takes a lot away, plays a little too selfish sometimes, but when it came down to it, he made a lot of good decisions, whether it was finding Manic or finding the open man, not forcing shots. And he even made some shots himself. So definitely props to him for being a key player down the stretch in the second half. Manic shot the ball well all night, came out confidently shooting it, even when guys were pretty much right up in his chest, so to speak. He still was pulling up. I mean, guys about 16, so you can really have to jump to block that shot. But for him to come out confident once again and play another, he only had the chance to really probably get at least two games against Duke unless we meet in the championship game in the ACC tournament. So in both games, he showed out, finishing with 20 points, 11 rebounds, 5 threes, the most of any player. And then second half, we're battling. Duke would go up by 7. We would just keep it close. And then when it came down to it, we finally got over the hump. Manic big shots, always just taking, and then just Davis, credit to Davis for taking advantage of the screen and roll game, because with Baycott being able to play, he set solid screens and then he rolled so well. So either Davis was finding him or Love was finding him, or Davis would just get Banchero on the switch and just stretch out for a layup and beat him quickly before a shot got blocked. So we played an excellent screen and roll game. I was surprised Duke really couldn't adjust. They said, I read where Coach K was really upset, and he even apologized after in his post-game speech to the crowd for their play. And I guess they say, from what I read, I know he was upset with how I guess he said his guys weren't talking on defense, and it really had a lot of breakdowns when you look at some of the open shots we got, because when it was like 2-possession game already. And you had Manic Davis stopped on the post, and shame on Griffin. Manic's the hottest guy. The score was 77-71. That's what it was, somewhere around there. Griffin got stopped on the opposite block. Griffin helped over too far. Davis was able to push it over to him from that corner/wing area, 3-ball, corner pocket, and pretty much ball game. I mean, I know they still did when Duke tried to press up, and Love got the ball to Baycock for a wide open 2-handed jam to really seal it and get that epic shot. If you look on Twitter or social media, it's the epic shot of Baycock throwing it down and Love making his face that everybody's enjoying. Everybody's been retweeting, saying this image needs to be framed. I know Pinson says it needs to be framed, but I mean, just salute to my boys for coming out and shocking the world when everybody just felt like we were probably going to get blown out. And it was going to be, they were going to send Coach K off with his last win in Cameron, but he doesn't get it. Everything doesn't end in a storybook ending in sports. Sometimes you have upsets, and those guys who played Manic, Baycott, Love, Davis, Leaky Black, they all can say, hey, Coach K's last game, one of the greatest coaches, probably the greatest coach in college basketball. His last home game, we beat them. We beat Banchero. We beat Williams. We beat Wendell Moore. We beat AJ Griffin, who lit us up at home, but who Black put the clamps on. Only 5 shot attempts. He made it 3, but and Banchero did his thing. I mean, he took advantage of his matchup, but we pretty much held everybody else in check. Yeah, Williams was strong on the boards and finishing strong at the rim. But hey, Banchero, to get 23 points, he had to shoot 26 times, and he had 4 turnovers. So Manic did what he could. I mean, he showed out on Manic. He put Manic in the blender on posters, however you want to call it. But we pretty much held him in check and walked out of there, Cameron, with that season-ending victory. And I mean, Duke could go on their favorite. They can go on and still have this storybook ending on track, send Coach K out with the title. They have the talent. I mean, the tournament is going to be up in the air. I mean, Gonzaga's good. The defending champions, Baylor, is still good. Auburn's good. Kentucky, so they're Arizona, so UCLA still good. Still has an experienced lineup, so it's really going to be a toss-up when it comes to the tournament. So, but I'm just getting mine in right now. I mean, getting it in for all my boys who are Carolina fans, Aunt Mike, Cornelius, Ian. We just gonna celebrate this one right now. And Henry, Derek, you're gonna have to, Willie, Gerard, former teammates at New Hanover, you're gonna have to bow down because we got this one. Hey, we meet in the AC tournament. Maybe y'all whip us. Maybe it's another good game. So be it. Or if y'all go on and Duke goes on and goes further than Carolina tournament or wins the whole thing, y'all get the last laugh. But I'm definitely hoping that doesn't happen. And I'm just hoping, hearing a few things here. I mean, I know as people love storylines and storybook endings, and they try to, writers love to pin these narratives for sports. And yeah, what a great way for for Coach K to go out with the 6th title, but I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I definitely don't hope the fix is in. I think that's going to be really hard to do. I mean, I know people question it sometimes when it comes to the NFL and maybe sometimes with the NBA about people getting these storybook endings, so to speak. NCAA tournament, got to have good guard players. It's going to be really tough to set that up, but hey, I mean, I know how Duke rolls sometimes. They've got some favorable calls when it should have been a block call. It was a charge, or Coach K's lighting up some ref, and they tend to start making the calls in Duke's favor. I mean, I've witnessed it. Yeah, I may be biased, but I felt at certain points, oh, that was a bad call. 2010 team against Baylor, you couldn't tell me the center Zubek didn't slide under people and get charges called, and that would have stopped Duke from getting the championship game. I think that was the Final Four. Maybe that was the Elite Eight when they went on to beat Butler, and probably one of Coach K's best coaching jobs. I mean, that on that squad, it was Singler, it was Kyle Singler, John Shire, who stepped to be the next coach, Zubek, as I mentioned, some other guys I can't call by name right now, but definitely not one of his most talented teams, but slipped in, got hot, got on the run, and got a title. I was upset after that when I remember when Gordon Hayward, that long shot just missed off the glass. I threw a pillow in my front room, man. I was high for that one. I did not want him to get that title because they had been on somewhat of a drought because it had been since 01. And I felt like in 01, Battier got away with a foul against Jason Gardner when they were playing Arizona, kind of turned the momentum a certain way. I mean, Arenas was giving them the business that game. I mean, Arizona put up a good fight. I was really hoping they got that title, but did what UConn did a couple of years before when Coach K had Brand, Maggette, I think Boozer, all those guys, William Avery, and they just ran through everybody. But then Richard Hamilton, Khalid El-Amin, Ricky Moore, they just, I think Vosco was on that team too, Jake Vosco, and they stopped Duke from winning it all when everybody just thought they had it. Because I mean, that would have gave him 3 titles in the 90s because they had already repeated in 91 and 92. And but yeah, and then his 1 in 15, I was more so upset. I felt like if they would have got to play against Kentucky with Cauley Stein and Towns, and Kentucky had a squad a year, and they're undefeated and they can't beat Wisconsin. And then I have to hope Wisconsin gets it done, but Tyus Jones and Justice Winslow and the big center, what's his name? Oh man, definitely MOP. He's done terrible in the league. He never really Jaleel Okafor. All freshmen. They got it done. So Coach K's been able to do it. I mean, win with experience, starting out with Leitner, Grant Hill, all those guys, Hurley. Then, so to speak, his least. I mean, then go on with Battier, Dunleavy. Was Boozer there? But definitely Jay Williams, that squad, Duhan, another pretty stacked squad. And then 2010, probably his least memorable squad. People won't know many names off that team. And then 2015 with Okafor and Winslow and Tyus Jones, yeah. Because Trey Jones came a little later, his younger brother. But I mean, he's had some talent. I mean, they got guys now, Tatum, Brandon Ingram. Let's see if Zion ever gets healthy. RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish, see what they do. They've got some other guys who've come through, Kyrie Irving, who are really making their mark in the league. So no top 75 players, surprisingly, but I think Carolina definitely got like we had Worthy, Jordan, somebody else who we're missing later. Get definitely those two, not Vince Carter, but definitely Jordan and Worthy. Nobody from 93 title team. Stackhouse, not Sheed, not Vince Carter, not Jameson, and nobody from the 05 or 09 title team. Or probably like Billy Cunningham, you have to go way back. There's probably one other guy I may be missing. But, oh yeah, and then post-game, so ever since the Juwan Howard thing happened between him and the coach of Wisconsin, Howard hitting the assistant, Juwan Howard, you just got to be better. I mean, you were pressing, the game was pretty much over. People are saying the coach put his hands on him, but the coach just kind of like, hold up, I want to speak to you. I mean, kind of impeding him at his elbow. And Juwan Howard was like, I remember that. And so coach from Wisconsin, they were going back and forth, but I guess he was trying to explain why he called a timeout. Juwan Howard was mad, got to the end of the coaches usually come first. He was at the end of the handshake line. So just definitely, I mean, it's inexcusable. Has to control his temper. Now, if you don't want to speak to someone and someone kind of impedes you, people say he put his hands on him, but he didn't. When you kind of like, he didn't snatch him back. He didn't snatch Juwan Howard back to come back to him like a child, or he just kind of hit him, touched him at the elbow, like, hey, I want to address this for the moment. And you just got to be professional and grown about it and talk it out. Juwan Howard eventually apologized. They said at the press conference he wasn't really saying he was sorry about the incident about slapping the guy then. So, but he eventually came out later. So, but you definitely can't put your hands on someone like that. So I was saying all that to say that the whole people are debating the whole handshaking thing right now. I don't think it needs to go anywhere, because the only time it really doesn't happen is after a team wins the championship. Maybe the coach still shakes hands. Coaches still shake hands in the NFL. Most of the time in the NBA. So, but you don't have that line. People usually just go dap up or congratulate who they know. But it's but so yeah, in the line, so it's clearly on camera. You got Chris Carrawell, an assistant coach, and Nolan Smith. Carrawell didn't shake Coach Davis's hand. And then Nolan Smith did, but he didn't even look at him. It was, I mean, but I guess, hey, it's a rivalry. Those guys really wanted that game. But I mean, what Carrawell did, that's totally messed up. Then he sent a text I just read in the Raleigh News and Observer from a reporter with the Raleigh News and Observer that Coach Hubert Davis didn't shake hands at the beginning of the game. So Carrawell had held a grudge, and since they lost, I'm not going to shake your hand. Just, you gotta be better than that. I mean, Duke whips Carolina at the Dean Dome. Hubert Davis shakes everybody's hand. Hey, good game. That's what we do. You just have to be mature and be a man about it and accept it. I got beat this time. I'm not going to win all the time. And no, those guys just have to be better than that. I mean, I know it's stuff being said out there during the heat of battling during the game. Your players are out there competing. Coaches are yelling instructions, not really yelling at each other, and there was no real incident in the game where, I mean, you had the Theo John flagrant, which was not really anything serious. He was kind of falling down. And then you had Baycott tripping up and falling back and pulling an opponent down on him. But it wasn't really anything besides just the rivalry and both sides wanted to win so bad. But I mean, thumbs down to definitely what Carrawell did, and somewhat to Nolan Smith too. I mean, you can just look away, and I guess he still acted mature about it. But Carrawell, come on, man, you're better than that. And you're probably gonna cross paths again. So the next time, the cameras are definitely gonna be looking for it. So we'll see how you react then. I mean, that's just a personal decision, but all in all, y'all didn't sweep the boys in blue. We closed out Cameron for the season, and Coach K's last game there, he had to accept an L. So I'm happy because I didn't expect it, so that it makes it that much more sweeter. And I have to live in the present, so I'm just going to have to take this moment and gloat a little bit and just gloat and let Duke fans know that I'm happy and I'm glad you're not. But moving along, and we'll see how the ACC tournament turns out. Everything transpires for that. That's going to be starting soon. Duke's probably going to still be a number 1 seed. I think they said Carolina they'll probably be a 3 seed. I know at best, or 4th. So hopefully we win a couple of games and get to the ACC championship. I mean, won't be mad, but hopefully we win a couple of games up there. It's going to be in Brooklyn. So I'm going to be looking forward to seeing that. As far as other basketball news and at the professional level, we're down to just a few games. NBA is coming down to the wire. Still got Phoenix top of their conference. You got Chicago slipping a little bit. They were holding up the top spot in the East, but I think as of now it's Miami. So teams are getting their position. Excuse me. Getting position for first to play in, and then playoffs are not far off, pretty much by about a month away, because we're around. Everybody has about 20 games left. We did have the big trade, the deadline. You had Harden going to Philly, Ben Simmons going to the Nets. I mean, who would have thought that in a way? You thought it was it was almost seemed like it makes sense to trade Simmons for Kyrie Irving, since he can only play in road games, and his mandate's still going to be still in place. So we'll see. Seems like nothing's going to change there, but Harden wanted out. He quit on another team and got his wish, got back with his GM, Daryl Morey, now with Philadelphia, and he's teamed up with Embiid, and they've looked impressive. I mean, beat okay Minnesota. The Knicks are scrubs, so nothing to really brag about there, but you do beat who's in front of you, beat the bad teams. They played Miami, I think, the other day, and Harden didn't play. Hamstring management, something in those words, didn't play. I'm like, I mean, that's the that's the team you're trailing. I mean, probably the team you're going to see down the stretch. But why not sit out one of those games against the Knicks? I think they were both on. Crazy how they both may have ended up on national TV. Well, no, one of them was, but the Miami game wasn't on national TV, but big time game. Harden should have been available to play, but I guess it didn't work out in the schedule. But at least he is playing because this guy, Ben Simmons, who knows when he's going to play. He gets traded to the Nets. Then it's okay, you expect give him a little time to get acclimated. Okay. Then now it's a back thing. And then now he definitely won't be playing when he goes back to Philadelphia, which is pretty soon. I think about 4 days away. So it's just like, is Simmons going to play? I mean, he's been out the whole season. What? What? I mean, now if he has some serious mental health issues, obviously, then get the help he needs. But I mean, his confidence has had to shrink so low when it comes to shooting the basketball in the game. I mean, don't want to go to the free throw line. Then the last we see of you, Trae Young is under the rim, and you don't go up and dunk or just lay the ball in because you don't want to get fouled. You're right there at the rim. So, I mean, we've seen the same workout stuff in the offseason, him shooting and not having a problem in those sessions and those videos. But, I mean, and then with Kyrie only being able to play role games, I mean, and thank God for them, Durant just came back and they pushed Boston today because it was in Boston. So Kyrie got to play. Durant had a monster game, but Tatum put north of 50 on him. So the Nets just been slipping. I mean, it's wild. Like a 10-game losing streak now. They're currently ninth, and that's 4 straight losses. So, and then Simmons is not playing on the road. I mean, when is he going to be ready? It seemed like this back thing should have been handled. I mean, I can understand Draymond Green played. Now he has a back issue, and maybe they're just trying to manage it as best as possible and wait to the postseason. But I mean, you put Ben Simmons back in the postseason, that's just even more pressure. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see when he plays, if he does play. It's only they're 32 and 33. So that's 65 games. And there's 65, 82, like 18 games, if I'm calculating right, somewhere around there. So, I mean, not a lot of time to get acclimated. I mean, I know the game is pretty simple to an extent. I mean, because it's really screen and roll heavy. You get into a one-on-one situation. They're pretty much just playing many games of one-on-one in a 5-on-5 setting. I mean, that's kind of what the NBA is now. You look for the matchup you want, you attack, and the floor is just spread out. And if they help, you kick it to open man because he has a good chance of knocking down the three. And so, I don't know, man. It's like, okay, he got traded and he's not playing, but we'll see if he comes around. But I thought Brooklyn was going to be a threat this year, have a legit chance definitely with Harden and Durant. I thought it would be enough, but Harden's shaky in the playoffs, and then you only get Kyrie for first. They didn't have him, now they get him for role games, and so, and where it's looking now, they're going to be playing a good amount of games on the road, so maybe that'll help them. But you got to have enough at home too. So if you just have Durant out there, you got shooters. If you just have Durant out there and you have shooters, I mean, you got Mills, you got Seth Curry, you got Dragic, you got some offensive help, but that's just not going to become enough. So, and then just not having the proper cohesion. Kyrie's in the lineup. Kyrie's not in the lineup. it's not a championship winning formula. So I just don't see it'll be another. I just see it being another year without them in the finals. Really don't know who's gonna come out. Teams are starting to settle into place, but Boston's hot now. Chicago still can't beat a good team. Milwaukee's still solid. Just won 4 straight, beat Chicago. They beat Phoenix today in a pretty good game, fast-paced up and down game, but it just came down to Phoenix just not having Chris Paul and Devin Booker at the end because they were firing quickly and on point with their shots, but I just was sitting there like, let's see how it gets when this thing gets tight. And then Middleton was on, and Giannis had a decent game, and they just kind of, those guys, Middleton and Giannis is going to beat who, Ayton, Landry Shamet, Cameron Payne, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder. They're going to, majority of the time, they're going to finish better than those guys, and that's pretty much what happened. And so East is wide open, maybe somewhat the West too, but Chris Paul get healthy, man, this guy's always hurt. I think starting to really believe that Phoenix will be right back there in the finals and may win it all. Golden State depends on, crazy thing is it depends on Draymond Green. Some people find him very overrated, but in that system, Steph and Klay Thompson just seem to thrive. And with him in that system, I know he helps their defense a lot. A lot of things don't show up on the stat sheet, but within that system, those guys thrive. And as great as Curry is, it's kind of crazy to say that a role player, someone like Green, who doesn't stand out statistically all the time, he needs him so much when he's the greatest shooter of all time. But he definitely needs him, and they got something to prove. Because can y'all do it without Durant? Can y'all do it without everybody getting injured on the other team, even though it's something you can't control? So, then Memphis is definitely going to win the series this year. Ja Morant, definitely going to get some votes in those when it comes down to the MVP. Says probably going to be Embiid. I don't like that Booker, Chris Paul not getting a lot of the talk, but I guess Booker hasn't paid enough dues. I guess Chris Paul doesn't score enough. But this team has been top of the standings. They're clearly number one, first team to 50 wins this season, beating good competition, winning wherever, but don't get that respect. But hey, if they raise that trophy, then they'll take championship trophy over one person being named MVP and not getting a title. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting out west. Anthony Davis just heard LeBron had, what do you have, like 58 Saturday night, somewhere around there, 56. Big game, got hot from three. I saw, I didn't get to see it visually, just got to look across the box scores, but 37 years old, was it 19 years in the league since 2003, just a lot of miles. Anthony Davis can't stay healthy. Westbrook is on the decline, doesn't fit. They'll make the play-in, but that'll be about it. We'll see if they get through the play-in, but just a bad team. They just give up too many open shots, too many old dudes, and they just bringing in those names at their old age just wasn't the right move. And the young guys like Monk and Kendrick Nunn hasn't even played. Taylor Horton Tucker has regressed. So just Anthony Davis being hurt and Westbrook being not efficient as usual and turning over the ball like crazy. And even LeBron's been turning it over. It's just not a good mix. They're going to have to figure some things out. Excuse me. May have to get a new coach or just move some pieces around or look to make some really big moves on the chessboard. I'm talking maybe moving AD or moving LeBron and just trying to get some picks back, but they want that star power, so I doubt that happens. So, but yeah, I can call it pretty confidently right now. The Lakers and the Nets won't be in the finals, as a lot of people thought they would. It'll be maybe Milwaukee and Phoenix again, but it's gonna be somebody different. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I have, folks. In this edition of Just My Thoughts. Just gonna ride the Carolina over Duke thing until I can't anymore. And if you're on YouTube, over my left shoulder, you can see I got the jersey up. It's generic number 43. I think James Michael McAdoo wore that number when he was at Carolina. But shout out to the homie Ant. He gave me that. Never had a Carolina jersey before, even though I'm a fan. Just never pushed myself to buy one, but had to hang that up for the visuals. For all of you who check me out on YouTube at the All Basketball Podcast. But just be on the lookout for another episode soon. Want to get a couple of guys on the panel. Definitely going to preview the playoffs. Talk more about the headlines and talk a little about the teams that were really a disappointment during the season, that we thought would be major players or be in the playoffs or make it a ways in the playoffs. We'll see what transpires with these final games down the stretch of the NBA, these conference championships, and then the NCAA tournament, March Madness. Yeah, we're almost there, and everybody's going to be tuning in. I've already been tuning in. I just like watching. If I see a good matchup between two ranked teams, I give it a little eye time to see what transpires. You still get to see some good basketball. I know everybody likes to complain about it to an extent and say we don't know these guys, but you still find if you're a fan of basketball, you can still find something enjoyable to watch during the college regular season. I mean, but NCAA time that's the money maker and must see TV. As long as you have a good mix of upsets and you have the well-known, highly ranked teams going pretty far, that always keeps everybody engaged. But I want to thank all you guys for listening to another episode of the All Basketball Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Maurice Dixon. Very happy Carolina fan. Be sure to check me out on any podcast listening platform. Simply type in All Basketball Podcast. It should show up. Definitely on Spotify, Apple, Google, and a few other places too that you may get your podcast. And also on YouTube, same search name, All Basketball Podcast. But until next time, peace and be blessed in Jesus' name.